The scenery outside reminds me of my pride, reminds me of my will. At the windowsill, I sit and see the grays, the children they all play and laugh amongst themselves. Somehow remind me of myself on the merry-go-round.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Trev. Yes, the background is totally different. I'm not home. I'm actually at my fiance's house. She and her mom and her son are in Portugal for the week, visiting some family. She's got a really old aunt. Her sister's there. So I'm dog sitting her very old dog, who is very needy and has me up at 2:30 in the morning to let her out. It's a nightmare, but whatever. This is what you do for love, right? So, okay. Anyway, want to chat with you about the Terra Rebels. We haven't really talked about the Terra Rebels in a while. Anytime that we've really talked about them is when they've actually been on the channel, promoting, some different things or just passing on some information to the community. But I thought that I would offer my perspective on kind of how it seems like things are transpiring or what Terra Rebels are kind of morphing into post governance, right? So anyway, it all kind of started maybe with the interview with Ed Kim. And toward the end of the interview, Matthew Perry joined us, and he asked a question that none of us really were expecting this answer from. The answer was expounded more than we expected, but it was appreciated because it gave us some information that we probably should have had because it's always been out there, but maybe none of us were paying attention to. And that was that once governance was restored, this burn tax, this 1.2% burn tax, 3568 was the proposal. The way it had actually been implemented into the code was not exactly the way it was originally written by Vegas. And the differences were that it did not stop at 10 billion supply. It would keep going. One of the other differences is that it didn't necessarily have to be 1.2%. They really could have, with another proposal, a parameter change proposal, they could have made it anything they want, and in the future they could still make it anything they want. So this opened up possibilities almost, in infinity, right? We can kind of do whatever we want to do. Now, while we didn't have governance yet, the sole focus of the entire Terra Rebels team was establishing governance, right? Establishing validators, getting validators back on so that we could stake and that we could delegate to them and that we could vote on proposals that were actually, because the validators were there to maintain the block now and to watch it, these proposals could actually be enacted, okay? This is what we needed to get to. This was the foundational step to restoring Luna Classic, LUNC, okay? So, we had a group of, and the number of them is up in the air, but we had a group of very, very talented professionals in their field that came together and concentrated on this one singular goal in getting it done. Now, you've got a bunch of guys, like I said, and gals, ladies, I guess gals isn't accepted. I don't know. Anyway, a bunch of men and women who are very, how do you say, very focused on their particular field. They're professionals, so they're very opinionated on maybe the way things should go, okay? But somehow they were all able to coalesce and join together and focus on this goal. Now, we did hear some opinions all during that time because the big thing was the 1.2% burn tax, right? So, and there were other little things, but we heard opinions on all sides of that from the Terra Rebels, and some of them were all for. And as a matter of fact, Vegas, I think after he wrote the proposal, I could be wrong on the timeline, but I think after he wrote the proposal, actually became a part of the team, a part of the Terra Rebel team. Okay, so you had some that were very much in support of the 1.2% burn tax and felt that we needed to reduce the supply, the extra supply that was created during the crash. Okay, there were still others who were pretty vocal about saying, listen, our goal is to establish governance, and if you guys voted on it, our goal is to make it happen, but we don't see that it's going to make a difference, right? 1.2% burn tax, it could take, X amount of years to make any difference at all. What we need to concentrate is on utility. Okay. Everybody was on different sides. So that didn't matter because, as I said, they all came together and focused on this one goal. But now that this goal is done and established, and we have governance, and we are staking, and the proposals that are being voted on and passed are being implemented into the chain, now these guys are free to kind of veer off according to their own perspectives on how things should actually go. And so a lot of things have transpired. I've done a few different interviews, and I remember in the very first interview, I was told, because I asked the question, so I was told that the Terra Rebels would always be here in one form or another. May change, some people, some swap some people out or whatever. Some people might leave, some new people might come in, but that presence, that Terra Rebel presence would always exist. And it is still existing, okay? They're fighting very hard to keep it existing. Maybe that's a wrong way to put it. It's not like it's on its way out or anything. It's just that they're adamant about making sure that Terra Rebels are always going to be a presence, okay? So, some efforts have been made to establish, a DAO, to establish maybe some sort of legal entity, and because of the varying perspectives and opinions on how things should go, that has proved problematic. A lot of chiefs, no Indians, okay? Everybody has their idea and they're kind of sticking to it, okay? So a lot of things that, maybe would have been nice haven't really happened, probably not going to happen. And actually what we're seeing is because they realize, I feel, this is all my perspective, right? All my opinion. Because I feel that they realize they kind of have to just agree to disagree on a lot of things, but they still want to be Terra Rebels. They built a brand. They're respected and trusted and loved in the community. And I don't think anybody's ready to part from that, okay? But because they realize they're not going to agree on some things, you're starting to see different groups kind of move off and do this, and a group doing that, and a group working on this, and a group working on that. And I asked the question recently. I said, it looks like you guys are kind of breaking into factions a little bit, and that's the word that I chose. And maybe that was too harsh of a term. And so I was told no. I mean, basically, there may be some groups coalescing and working on different particular projects, but still under the umbrella of Terra Rebels. And in my last interview with Zaradar and Alex, they were talking about or promoting an idea that Alex came up with for repegging and for swapping LUNC with USTC, and it was a different way of getting rid of the supply and what they felt was a more efficient way. So the two of them came on to talk about that. And I asked Zaradar as well. I said, listen, what's going on with you guys? Are you kind of like, is the band breaking up? And he also took the opportunity to kind of downplay what's going on a little bit, again, from my perspective. And you know, I'm not paraphrasing, but I mean, I'm not quoting, right? But to paraphrase, he said basically, no, you know, listen, bands break up, they get back together. Sometimes you know, the drummer leaves, you got to replace the drummer, you know, but it's still the band, okay? That was the analogy that he gave, and that's fine, all right. So nobody wants to come out and say no, we're breaking into groups. Terror Rebels are kind of breaking up into different factions. Still Terror Rebels, just with maybe some different ideas, some different groups working on different things, okay? So, what's had to actually happen is that the definition of Terror Rebels, which we understand, I believe, to be the group of men and women who have been working all this time to reestablish LUNC, to revive it, to bring it back to life after it was dumped. Those people who were actively working on that, those were the Terror Rebels, as far as I knew, probably as far as you knew too. But the term Terror Rebels, I guess now the definition, it appears, needs to take on a more fluid definition, okay? And one definition that's been floated to me is something to the effect of any member of the community who kind of believes in our ethos, okay? Our perspective, right? Our idea of rescuing LUNC and that LUNC needs to be revived. Anyone who believes in that idea can be called a terror rebel, right? Kind of like, you know, I don't know, we're all Ryoshi kind of thing, right? It's the only thing that I can think of right now to compare it to. So that's a very, very broad definition of terror rebels. And it's needed to come about because if you don't redefine it, then maybe you have to face the facts that maybe terror rebels are, you know, just never gonna be what they once were, and maybe breaking off, you know, into groups that I'm still gonna call factions, because not only to me are they working on different ideas, but in a lot of cases they vehemently disagree with what the other group is working on, you know. Um, so it's tough because I love the Terra Rebels. I've done a bunch of videos on how much I love these guys. I appreciate them. Everything that they have done is phenomenal, okay? But I think that we all need to get used to a new version of the Terra Rebels, a broader definition of what Terra Rebels is. And I guess that we can all have varied ideas on how to make this thing work. But if we all agree and we have the common goal of making it work, then I guess we're all still in the Terror Rebel camp, okay? And that's where we are right now. So again, we had the video from Alex and from Zaradar about their plan, and right now I've seen different iterations of this plan on the Terror Rebels Discord. It seems like it's morphing, it's changing. They're moving things around, fine tuning it, okay, with a bunch of ideas, because there's a bunch of bright people who are offering ideas. So it's being honed, but also it's being they're trying to find a way, because it's very complex. And I'm not educated in this stuff, but at the same time, I'm not like an unintelligent person. If you explain something to me, I can get it, I can pick it up. This stuff is just way out of my world, right? The acronyms that they use and the terms that they use, they think that they're simplifying it, but it's just, if you're not in that field, you're not going to understand it. And just because it's complex doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It's just that they need to find a way to simplify it and put it in terms that the masses, that the community, all of us can understand. Because if we've got to vote on this thing, I said in my last video, right? We shouldn't be voting on it because somebody that we liked said it was good. We should be voting on it because we understand it. Okay? So that's what they're working on right now. They're working on trying to find the verbiage to simplify this and, for better lack of a better term, kind of dumb it down for the majority of us who would never understand it the way it is. So that's going on. Okay? Now, we also, and I'm on the Terra Rebels website right now, but I'm going to move over a minute because we also were introduced not long ago to Terra C Vita. And Terra C Vita is a new Twitter account. There are 52 tweets, and it is made up of members of the Terra Rebels. Not all of them, but some of them. Okay? And the idea behind it, and listen, I'm supposed to have the guys on. They've told me, one of the guy, the main guy, has told me that they're ironing out a couple things, but he is going to come on and talk about it. So that's going to be great because I can only give you the broad sense of what this thing is. I mean, I really want to get into the nuts and bolts of it with the guys who are involved. But it says all things Terra Classic. So it seems that this is the idea of, and I mean, we already had the Terra Rebels official Twitter page, but this Terra C Vita, is it Terra Vita? The C is silent. Is it Terrac Vita? I'm not sure, but I'm going to call it Terra C Vita. Seems to be, to me, at first look, maybe a little repetitive. Like, why do we need an additional thing? Okay. But there is a different function to this. There is a nuance to it. And I'm not going to try to explain it to you. I'm going to let them guys explain it when they come on. But it's all things Terra Classic. It is meant to support not only Terra Rebels initiatives, but maybe some initiatives outside of the Terra Rebels that are still working toward the betterment of LUNC. Okay? They have these group of Terra Rebels that form Terra C Vita. They have joined with a validator. Okay? And the validator is High Stakes. This is a validator on the Terra chain. They've joined with them because with them, they are able to bring some funding to this Terra C Vita. And the funding is going to be used for a grant program to help finance some of these initiatives, both Terra Rebels-led initiatives and outside of Terra Rebels-led initiatives. It's a grant program that I suppose you apply for the grant. I'm not sure who makes up the decision as to who gets the grant, who doesn't get the grant. Is that a community thing? Is there a board of, people who decide? I don't know. These are all the questions that I want to ask, okay? But here's another group of Terra Rebels who are still Terra Rebels. This is under the Terra Rebels umbrella, but they're bringing us something different, okay? Now, I'm going to go over here. Within the Terra C Vita, I think it's the same guys, have also created another Twitter account called Rebel Gear Shop, where they are selling merch. Terra Rebel merch, LUNC merch, and also the proceeds. This is a non-profit from what I understand, because I believe all of the proceeds for this are going to support this grant program by Terra C Vita. Now, is there a portion of this, and I hope there is, that will go to supporting or helping out some of these Terra Rebels core group who have been there from the beginning, who have been working for about 4 months now as volunteers, okay? Some have tried to maintain full-time jobs. Some are working part-time jobs. Some of them aren't working, haven't worked for 4 months, to put all of their time and energy into this. And in one of my very first videos, when we talked about the fact that these guys were all volunteers, I said then, and I will repeat now, that I hope there is some compensation for the sacrifice that they and their families have made over this last 4 months. Because bills still need to be paid. The bank manager and the loan managers don't care that they're doing this noble cause and rebuilding LUNC. You got to pay your mortgage. You got to pay your car payment. You got to pay your insurance. Okay. So I hope that there is some part of this that is possibly a grant for some of them who may be struggling, maybe more than others. All right. I would like to pay every single one of them, because what they've done is nothing short of miraculous. They've done it for us who are invested, for those who were invested before who lost a shitload, right? And for those who are invested right now in believing in this program, believing in this project, LUNC, they've done it for us. And they deserve to be compensated. They deserve to be paid for it, my opinion. All right. So I hope that there's a part of this that that does that. Okay. I'm really looking forward to talking to these guys. I really, really am. And here's the website for the merch, and it's broken into a couple of different pieces. Okay, you got Terra Luna Classic merch, and if you go on that, it breaks it down into a few categories. So we have hats, we have shoes, we have mugs, shirts, and actual dresses with the LUN's, the Luna Classic logo, right? I'll just pop in real quick. Shoes. It's basically sneakers. They look like Chucks, but they got the Terra Classic emblem on the side. You got some boots that are, like Tim's maybe. You got a few different options. I'm sure there'll probably be more options to come. Okay. Let me back up a little bit. Hats. I'm really digging these hats, to be honest with you. These baseball caps, I'm loving this one here. The bucket hat. So I might be picking me up some of this. I want to know exactly what this money is going to fund. I'd like to talk to them about it. I think that they need to let the whole community know about it, because if we know about what this cause is, I think a lot of us are more willing to jump in and say, heck yeah, you did for us, we're going to do for you. So that's that side of it. The other side of it was, I got to back up one more, sorry. The other side of it is Rebel Life Creative, okay? And this is more original kind of stuff. And shoes, shirts, dresses, hats, toiletries. I got to check out toiletries. Car stuff, stickers, mugs, luggage, lunch boxes. That's creative. Electronics, okay? And basically, it's a bunch of things with this Rebel Life all over it, right? The toiletries. Okay, all right. So we're looking at towels, hand towels, shower curtains. I mean, I was thinking there were going to be toothbrushes or something. I don't, who knows? Maybe to come. Anyway, I recommend that you guys go and check out all of this stuff. If there's anything here that interests you, or if you're just interested in general in supporting the Terra Rebels, okay, in their initiatives and supporting anyone who, in the broader sense of Terra Rebels now, okay, is just working toward helping LUNC, working toward bringing utility, working toward reducing the supply, all aspects of getting this back on its feet and getting the price up to some places where we might want to see it. I would say go here. And even before I talk to these guys, haven't they done enough to win your trust? Okay. So if they've created this, you can pretty much rest assured that it's going to be put to some really, really good use. But if you want to wait, that's fine too. The quicker I can get these guys on, the better for everybody. I hope that they come on soon. I know that they're going to see this. I'm talking to you. We've already chatted about it. Let's set a date and let's get this done so we can get some details here. All right, that's it. I'm going to leave you at that. Much longer video than I intended, but there was a lot to talk about. So I hope that you watched it all. I hope that you liked the video. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing if you're not subscribed? Subscribe to the channel. Hit the all notification bell so you'll see more videos when I release them. And hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Be back to you soon. Oh, leave some comments in the comment section. If you have questions, I'll try to get answers for you. All right? Thanks a lot, guys. Ciao.